listen and practice.
The Shadow Club. Now we know we were all sure that the snake shadow would attack Sanjeet again, but we were there to protect him. Sure, we couldn't do much about his home life, but as long as he was in school, he could stay with us. The problem was, he didn't seem to like us very much. Sometimes we got him chatting, but most of the time, he just watched as I joked with Max and Larry, or we talked about football. I thought he might get on well with Bethany, but even she struggled to find something to talk about with him. Apart from that rabbit toy he always played with, and his crazy mother, we really didn't know anything about him. Trying to get him to talk about himself didn't really work either. Once or twice, we mentioned the shadows, but he couldn't say anything about that. Seriously, it was like his throat stopped working. Finally, Larry told us to stop trying. He doesn't want to talk about himself or the shadows, so he doesn't have to. One lunchtime, after struggling to find a game or a topic of conversation that would actually include him, Bethany asked, "What do you normally do at lunchtime? I mean, what did you do before you started hanging out with us?" Sanjeet gave a little jump. "Oh, I went to the library, huh," said Larry. "I didn't even know it was open at lunchtime." "So let's all go there," said Bethany. "It'll make for a nice change." She looked at us hopefully, and I nodded, so we all went there. Thank God he hadn't said, "I went to chapel," because that would have been too much for me. The library? I could handle going to the library. It meant we could play on the computers. To be honest, it felt a bit weird being there at lunchtime. We couldn't talk loudly, and there was only one computer free, which Max got to before us. I had been wondering where she went at lunchtime. I went and said hello, and she was on a Fighting Cats fan site. I was surrounded by losers. Anyway, Bethany went and looked for books for our project, while me and Larry sat in the corner with Sanjeet. Sanjeet took a book out of his bag and ignored us, while me and Larry whispered jokes to each other. And then, of course, Mr. Byrne came over and said, "Shh," from the other side of the room. Someone else shushed. Mr. Byrne turned around, but he couldn't see where it had come from. Me and Larry tried to keep quiet, but of course we started talking again, so the poor librarian came to shush us once more. And again, there was another shh from the other side of the room. It clearly came from a group of Year 11s who were laughing behind Mr. Byrne's back. Whenever he turned around, they put their heads back in their books and acted like they were just reading. I almost felt bad for Mr. Byrne. Even pupils were bullying him, and we had read through his private notebook just a week before. I decided to be nicer to him the next time we had the Shadow Club. Not that it really mattered. He never talked to us there. Lunch passed by incredibly slowly in the library. I hadn't noticed it when we were there during lessons, because lessons always passed by slowly, but there was a weird energy in the place, and I didn't like being there. I tried picking up a book from the shelves, but I realized most of them were rubbish. There were lots of serious books about history and science, but all the fiction books were old and boring. I struggled to even get through 5 pages. Lunchtime finally ended, but my struggles did not. Since the library was the only place Sanjeet actually seemed comfortable with us, we continued to go there every day. By Friday, I was dead bored, but I reminded myself that we were doing this for a reason. We were the Shadow Club. We hadn't seen any signs of shadows near Sanjeet, but we had to be careful. Speaking of which, we had been spending the Shadow Club with Mr. Byrne watching us all week. It seemed Mrs. Cowper was not coming back, so now we really were a board games club. When we wanted to talk about shadows, we wrote notes to each other, but we didn't have much to talk about. We still patrolled every day, but we'd seen nothing.
Check more on our channel for more videos like this. Don't forget to practice more. See you on our next videos. Bye-bye.